Buffalo Plus, your interactive look at the week in football, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.
I don't have an IFB.
Yeah, we're ready. Let's go ahead.
I don't have my IFB in. All right, hello.
That's it. We're good.
Jenna
We're
not
ready
to worry
go.
about it.
Hello and welcome to Buffalo Plus. We are live on the field here at Everbank Stadium. Mike Catalan and Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hopefully the Bills get off to a faster start than I did on this podcast, on this pregame show.
It's a little hectic when you're down here on the field before the game. I mean, what's cool about it is we're standing here, and Josh Allen walked right behind us. We just saw Matt Prater walk out onto the field. So the Bills are getting set, and it's a little wild down on the field, especially before a playoff game. So Jenna looks great, though.
Yeah.
I like the outfit. Dan's got Buffalo Plus gear on. He's down here on the field.
I'm underdressed.
So we're all on the field for now, but Dan's going to be down there the whole game with a TV camera. If you're watching the broadcast, which I'm sure you're going to be, you're going to be seeing Dan running around down on the field, getting the highlights of the game.
You look great.
Yeah.
She's doing amazing, sweetie.
Hey, if they win, what's coming out?
The glasses. The glasses are coming out.
Yeah,
if they
she brought
win.
her glasses with her.
Hold on. Should I grab them?
Nope.
No, they don't just,
Yeah.
So
Those have to earn 'em.
we're gonna take your comments. We're
Okay.
gonna go over what
Comments,
you
questions.
guys are thinking about for this game. We also want to start out by
I'm
saying
going to need my phone to go get stuff.
Okay, I will.
we are also
phone.
going to be talking about when we get the 2 touchdowns for Gabe Davis in this game.
Yes.
Where's the pool, by the way?
I don't know.
Is it down there? I don't see
I
it.
don't see it either. Oh, it's up there?
there it is.
It's up there.
Oh,
There's
it's
the
up
pool.
there. Yeah.
There's somebody in it.
Dan's going to jump
There
in the
is
pool.
somebody in it.
I think it's a lifeguard.
It's got to be a lifeguard.
Dan's going to jump in the pool if Gabe Davis scores 2 touchdowns. I'm going to jump in
so
the
I
pool.
can go up that row,
Yeah, we'll get you up there.
that up there, that on there.
If Greg Rousseau gets 3 sacks in the game, and yours was Khalil Shakir, 3 sacks in the game. I mean, 3
if Khalil
touchdowns
Shakir
in the
has
game.
3 sacks in the game,
touchdowns
I will
in the
jump
game.
in the pool.
Yes.
Yes, 3 touchdowns.
And then we'll all get arrested. But, we'll see how it plays
promptly.
out. So,
yes. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Let's talk about this game. We mentioned it on just the YouTube channel yesterday about the narrative going in, Josh Allen, the pressure. Now that the day is here, Mike, we saw the craziness that was yesterday in terms of the playoffs, just the wild games that we saw. For this team, I know the Bills have playoff experience, but how crucial is that when you see the craziness that can go down in the postseason?
I think what you see is don't take your foot off the pedal in
Yeah.
a game. Like, this is a Jags team that can score points, right? You get a lead on them. Let's say the Bills have a good first half. Let's say they get rolling offensively and they have a lead in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take the foot off the pedal because you can't score enough. You want to depend on your defense to make a stop. You don't want them to have to make multiple stops in a game. So you're going to do your best. So I think if you're the Green Bay Packers and you're looking back at that game, you're saying, we took our foot off the gas pedal, can't do that today.
Yeah, I think it's just been a reminder of that.
I think somebody pointed out, too, maybe it was Jeremy White from WGR pointed out, turnovers won't kill you. Unproductive drives will. Like, that is what they need to continue to stack. It's the field position game. It's how they got back in that game against Philadelphia in the second half. Those little things are going to matter a ton. Josh Allen, in his postseason career, 25 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. Like, I expect to see special Josh Allen like we've gotten used, like we've become accustomed to seeing in the postseason. It's just, can you sustain drives? I think that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Keeping the Jaguars offense off the field a little bit.
Well, even Josh was asked about it this week. He's like, every drive does mean that much more. And you're right, like turnovers, obviously, you want to minimize those, but every drive, you need to be able to put up points. And I feel like we can get into the kicking game and all that type of stuff. First, people are asking, Jay Marsh had the question of, what is it like on the field? So we've dealt with a little bit of rain earlier on today, a little bit of wind, but what are you feeling? What are you seeing?
Everybody seems a little on edge. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people that don't know where they're supposed to be, and then we're all kind of trying to figure out where we're going.
Are you talking?
here
Are you
next
talking
to
about us?
No, it's just,
I'm just saying.
especially when you have
Feels
these
a bit on
playoff
the
games,
nose.
it's like a Monday night game. Like, there's just more bodies and more people everywhere, so it's
Yeah.
just more chaotic. Like,
Yeah.
even now, just pregame, there's multiple TV stations, ESPN, everybody's here. You're stealing power from places. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you're just
borrowing would be the word. Yes.
Yes, that is true. But I know like it's cooler here for them. But it's obvious the weather here if you're looking at playing the game and the rain continues to stay away, this is a really nice temperature, not too much wind either.
I think this is great for the Bills.
I agree.
I mean, it's not a humid day at all. It's a little, I would say, sorry, Western New York, if you're watching there, it's a little cool, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And you
Jenna
didn't
was
want
freezing during our
You did
TV
not
show.
want to come down here on a day when it was 85 and humid, which
I
you
agree.
can get that,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So the weather is not impactful at all, certainly to the Bills. And so, let's see how it plays out.
Agreed.
All right, so one of the questions was also talking about from Clocker. Do you think the Bills' mindset should be underdogs after the Vegas odds flipping? So the Bills' odds, they were 1.5-point favorites. Then it went back to the Jags being, essentially this game is realistically a pick-em.
Yeah.
But can you explain that, like what goes into that?
Yeah, so a lot of money must have been coming in, and bets being placed on the Jaguars plus 1.5. So a lot of money must have come in that side. The books then switched it to try and even out how much money they're taking in, and the Bills became 1.5-point underdogs. I'll say this, I reached out to a guy in the Action Network who tracks all of this data, has all this history. He said it's only happened 12 times in the postseason since 2003 that a team started as the favorite and shifted to the underdog. The underdog in those games is 8-3 against the spread. More good news for the Bills if you're looking at that type of data, but there were some books that also just kept the Bills as 1.5-point favorites. So it's all based on independently how much book is taking each money on those things.
It's so interesting. I feel like you don't think about that, but I know that the Jags have really used being underdogs at home after winning 13 games, winning 8 in a row, winning the AFC South. They really took that personally.
Yeah, I think anything to help with motivation, teams will do. I'm sure Liam Cohen's going to use that. He's going to say, how do we end up getting that last little bit of motivation? Now, Dan's going to change up the camera here a little bit because I think he is going to go do his camera work. Is that what you're doing? There he goes.
Content.
Be sure to
his
follow him
social
on
media
Twitter.
will be crazy. He'll be out there. But no, I think teams use it. And look, if you're Sean McDermott, all we got is us, right? The players will talk
1000%.
about that when you're on the road. I love that vibe for a team. I know it's hard to win 3 times. I said this the other day. They're in the hotel last night. I guarantee we're going to hear about somebody saying something before the game. Could be Josh Allen. Could be Shaq Thompson. Could be Deion Dawkins. I don't know who it is yet that says something that resonates with players about this moment. The one thing I did hear, even though we talk about the Bills being in the playoffs all the time, there are players on this team that have come to the Bills that haven't had that opportunity or certainly haven't had it as a Bills player. Don't take it for granted. Relish this. And then win and move on. That would be the key.
It is funny to think about there being players on this team that don't have the playoff experience. Sam Franklin, though, does not. He's one of those guys. But I feel like for this Bills team, that playoff experience, that is massive. It's Liam Cohen's first year as the Jags head coach. It's his first playoff appearance as this team's head coach. And I do feel like for Sean McDermott, this is his 15th playoff game. Josh Allen, this is his 14th career playoff start. Like, doesn't that matter?
It does matter. And the road thing is important. And I know that, it's funny. I covered the last Bills game that they won on the road. I covered the last one that they played with Jim Kelly. I mean,
been there.
The Bills
Covered
teams
that.
used to win at home. And then the year they won the Music City Miracle, they went on the road at Pittsburgh and won, at Miami and won. I think they were probably more proud of that one than any other trip.
Wow.
Because everybody had counted them down, counted them out, and they went the comeback game to begin it, and then 2 tough games on the road to get it done and go to the Super Bowl. I think this team right now is feeling that energy of, okay, we're not at home. We don't have that advantage, and it is an advantage, but let's try to transfer that. As I'm saying that, I'm looking at Bills Mafia here. I don't know how many,
there's a
but I think
lot.
it's a decent amount of Bills fans that are here so far.
I was going to say, I feel like there are quite a bit of Bills fans. We'll have to see how that goes in terms of we know there's a lot of fans that wanted to make the trip, or we know Bills fans do travel well, but I do think in a playoff atmosphere, a lot of times playoff teams, they're not going to sell their tickets. A lot of the fans that are local here for Jags fans, they want to stay, they want to keep their tickets, but we'll have to see how that all pans out. But you mentioned the road and what it'll take for the Bills, and it is winning on the road. And Sean McDermott, 0-5 in the playoffs on the road. It's not going to, I don't want to say that's in his mind, but but that's one of those things that will follow you until you're able to end that narrative.
Yeah. I mean, Josh Allen is 0-4 on the road, right?
Yeah,
but we know how Josh Allen has played. And when I think of, there's Dawson Knox behind us just walking on the field. Dawson Knox will be important in this game, as well as Dalton Kincaid in this game. But here's when I look at their road games, Jenna, I think they learned a ton. It was a different team, but they learned a ton in the Houston game, organizationally. They had that lead 16-0, and then the game fell apart. I think Josh Allen learned a lot in that game.
Yeah.
Other than that, when he's been on the road, the Kansas City games, he played phenomenally well, certainly in 13 seconds. He played phenomenally well last year in the AFC Championship game. They just lost at the end. So, like I said, it's not like this team walks on the road and falls apart.
Yeah.
They've lost in overtime twice. They've lost in one-score games, the two other ones, and then the AFC Championship game that they had the lead in against Kansas City. They were a little early to the party on that one. That was the one they ended up losing by a few scores. But the games are close, and I think this one's going to be close.
Yeah, I do too. All right, you see some of the players getting on the field for warm-up behind us. We have Dawson Knox out there, Reggie Gilliam, Keon Coleman right behind us as well. There's Dan Fates out there too. No, I'm kidding.
You know what I'm looking at behind me is Frank Gore Jr. is right behind us now. In 15 minutes, we will hear if Frank Gore is going to be activated or if it's going to be Ty Johnson playing in the game. Because at 11:30, they're going to come out with the inactive list for this game. So just because Frank Gore was brought up for the practice squad does not guarantee that Ty Johnson can't play in this game. And I think Frank Gore would play if needed.
Yes.
Ty Johnson, if he's playing, I think he would have more of an impact. You would think he'd have more of an impact in the game.
For sure. One of the questions here is from one JRK. What are your guys' concern level on the DBs for Buffalo against the fast pass catchers for Jacksonville? I think that's obviously a quality question. I do think not having Max Harrison in this game does hurt you, considering for him to get injured against the Jets late in that game, that's tough to see, the ankle injury. He did not practice at all this week. But where do you rate your confidence on guys like Christian Benford and Trey White?
I'm going to let you talk about Trey White, because you talked to Trey White. I'm going to talk about Christian Benford just being that good. Got knocked out of that playoff game against Kansas City with a concussion, and obviously greatly impacts this team. Christian Benford is so good. Obviously he's got to be that guy today. I think the guy that has surprised everybody all year long has been Trey White. Not just staying healthy and staying on the field, but really being a good football player.
I mean, I did the interview with Trey this week, sat down with him, and sometimes it's hard to talk about players like, hey, your worst moment, tell me what that was like. But he was so candid about, not only did he, for some guys, if they tear their ACL, that's a career-ending injury.
Right.
For some guys, if they tear their Achilles, it's a career-ending injury. But to come back from both, to be cut by the team that he loved in Buffalo that drafted him in 2017. And he said, he's like, look, I played at the Rams and at the Ravens, and they're good organizations, but he's like, I wanted to be back here. And then for him to come back and to have the level of play that he's been playing at, he's like, I heard all the questions. I heard all the talk. And he's like, but I took that on with a head of steam. And so to see where he's playing at, it feels like he's playing free, and he feels like just what has opened up for him because he's really appreciating the moment. And I know some people might be like, well, that's really silly. But for him, I just think he does have a ton of experience, and now his body is able to keep up with that. And we've seen him even evolve his game.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this on the channel quite a bit, about how physical he is now, some of the tackling that he's been able to do, just to see how he has grown. It's really cool. He's 30 years old.
His birthday is coming up soon,
His
right?
birthday is I think it's the 14th or something of January.
So he'll be 31.
Yes.
That is young for everyone in the world. It's not young for an NFL player, but it's also not, you're done. You can play. There are players who played, and I think he's really impressed, not just the coaching staff and the fans, but he's impressed his teammates by how he has played. So he's vital.
Yeah.
He's vital in this game.
I agree. All right, we got a question coming in from Matt, essentially asking, James Cook, if he doesn't run for over 100 yards, 1 TDs, he's scared about the Bills losing. How much Now, this is a very good, statistically run defense for the Jags, but how can James Cook, we've seen him play at an incredible level all season, was named second-team All-Pro yesterday, won the NFL rushing title, but what does he need to do, and how much do you think the Bills can lean on him because of the playmaker he's been?
I think they can lean on him a lot. I think they need to keep trying to run the football in this game. I don't think they can get themselves in a position where it doesn't work early. The Jags are doing a good job, and then you get away from the run game. You need to run the football in this game, and I think James Cook is vital to this team. And Dan talked about it last year. They played the Broncos, who had one of the top rushing defenses in the league, and the Bills put up well over 200 against them. Yeah. And then did the same thing the next week against the Ravens, not the exact number, but they put up, I think, 90 in the first half.
Yeah.
You are a running team that has superstar Josh Allen
a
to make the big plays, right?
Yeah.
James Cook's going to run. Josh Allen's going to run. I know it's got the foot injury. I think the NFL Network had a report today.
NFL Network saying it's irritation of the mid-foot bone, of a mid-foot bone.
Yeah. His foot hurts.
Yeah.
And it probably isn't going to feel better until the Bills are finished. Maybe that's in February. Maybe, you don't know.
Yes.
But I still think he's running the football today. I think it opens up a lot. I think if the Jags give him the opportunity, he's going to take advantage of it and run the ball.
Yes. Shout out my sister, Melissa, commenting in. Also, cute fit, Jen. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's look at some other comments.
What, nothing for my fit?
Yeah,
I don't get anything? Really?
That's really, really funny. Rob saying a super tip, thank you. Bills will need to live in big packages today. Jags run defense is great, but they are below average against big sets. All right, that's another opportunity then for this Bills team. I want to talk to you about like the tight ends and Dalton Kincaid. We know he's been injured throughout the season, but when he is out on the field, we have seen him make a difference for this passing game.
He's got to be. Look, they're not getting it on the outside. This is a team. The passing game goes through the tight ends, and it's sometimes the backs.
Yeah.
That's who they depend on. Khalil Shakir, sure. Maybe it's Brandon Cooks, but I think it's going to be Kincaid and Knox.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Knox. I think he's out there for more snaps than Kincaid is, more of a blocker. But Kincaid has gotten them the 20-plus yard plays. He has opened things up for this offense. He played last week, played against the Jets, looked good, looked healthier. And I know they're managing his injury with his knee, but I think he's a big part of the offense today.
No, I agree. Ralph saying, does Jenna have a wetsuit on under that top and jacket? The pool is going to be cold. We did locate the pool up there. There are people in the pool now.
Yeah.
Okay,
they're probably
we'll
Bills fans who snuck in there. Because, I mean, if you live in Jacksonville, like, you are cold today.
Yes, you are.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jenna's cold.
I'm not. Okay. It just was a little chilly for a sleeveless top, but it's not bad.
That's why I didn't go sleeveless today.
Oh, really? Alyssa also saying, Michael, tell Gabe Davis I need 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, yeah.
I don't like when they're right behind us. That kind of scares me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, here comes the passes. Look at this. Reggie Gilliam. Yeah.
They can't see it, I don't think.
No, you can't see that. Well, you might see. You see Reggie just ran behind us. They're catching in the corners. Jackson Hawes. Yeah, they're right behind us. Here, I can point here. Here comes the pass to Shakir. Another catch. These guys better watch out. They're all, they can see us running behind them now. Or they see them running behind us now.
Okay.
We'll try to stay safe.
Got to keep your head on a swivel down here.
You do down here. You never know what's happening down here. I think the atmosphere is going to be really good. It's a Sunday 1 o'clock game.
Yes.
Somebody had to be in this spot. It is Jim Nance and Tony Romo, who have done, I think, 8 consecutive Bills playoff games, which is kind of wild. So they get a Sunday 1 o'clock game. But honestly, a lot of talk has been made about starts for this team, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
And Jenna, this crowd's going to be into this game early.
Yes.
These fans are excited because this was an unexpected year. I do think they have to get off to a better start, the Bills do.
I was literally just about to ask you.
Yeah.
Like, that has been one of the, I don't want want to say Achilles heels of this team, but that has been something that they have really struggled without the season. We talk about those second half adjustments and how good they've been with those. I think of the Patriots game and what that did for Buffalo in the second half. But for this team, you want to get the crowd out of it as soon as possible, and especially in the playoffs. Like, we saw some wild comebacks yesterday.
Yep.
But how do you start faster, Mike? Because this team has struggled with that.
This is why you win the toss, you defer. And some fans don't like that. But I like it on the road for two reasons. I want to get my defense out there. I know the Jags are going to come with their scripted plays.
Yeah.
I want to see if get the defense to make a stop. Obviously that's a key. The other thing is you get the ball to start the second half. You can steal a possession because you get it there. But also on the road, you see it when you're on the field. Like, the home fans are late coming back to their seats to start the third quarter. It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
And the building is usually quiet. And when the Bills played the Patriots, it was quiet, relatively speaking, as they walked down the field to get the drive to start the second half. I think that's an important thing. Now, that being said, you kick off to the Jags and they go down the field for a touchdown. That's rough. That is rough. But you want your defense to step up early. That would be a key to get an early stop.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that can really set the tone. And I think sometimes people are like, but I do think it's also important that this is a long game. And we saw last year when the Bills played the Broncos, Denver walked down the field, scored a touchdown, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
But again, that was at home.
Yeah, and the Bills blew them out.
And yes. But that being said, it will be a long game. I expect there to be punches back and forth by both teams.
Yep.
But I just do think, in my opinion, like the playoff experience that the Bills do have is just so massive. And Josh Allen talked about it this week. You just know the emotions you're gonna feel because there is pressure. And Dan talked about it before. There is the anxiety.
I think about the moments Josh Allen. I'll say him because there's been other guys like Deion's been there and Dawson Knox and Spencer Brown. The 2019 game was insane.
Yeah.
And the emotions he had in that one, he was up and down and up and down. All of that second half was crazy. And then you go to 2 home games during COVID, and they beat the Colts and they beat the Ravens. And then you go to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Dorian Williams walking behind us here. You do all that, and then the perfect game against New England. Then you go on the road 13 seconds. Like, think about the moments he has had. So when you say Josh has been there and done that, he has been there and done that.
Yeah.
And I think that is a huge part of what Trevor Lawrence doesn't have. Now, I will say this about Trevor Lawrence. He had maybe the wildest playoff game, one of the wildest playoff games in the history of the NFL. He was so bad in the first half that it was almost pitiful. I think he had, I should know this, 4 interceptions in the first half, and they came back and won against the Chargers. Now, that's going back, like 4 years ago now. But he doesn't have the total number for experience. They lost to the Chiefs the next week. It's been limited for him. I think that plays a role. I mean, you could say Caleb Williams didn't have it and then came through big in the second half. Let's see if Trevor Lawrence has that in him today.
Trevor Lawrence does also have his college career where he played in front of massive crowds at Clemson, national championship stuff. So there is that. But I do think for the NFL, it's just a different type of vibe. We talked a little bit before about some of the playmakers for this team.
I'm just watching Matt Prater walk off the field. Hey, signing an autograph.
Yeah. He seems loose. Seems calm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you want out of your guy.
While we're talking about him, the kicker matchup is a tough one.
Yes.
Because their kicker is a freak of nature.
Yeah, Cam Little is really, really good. He has 2 of the longest touchdowns, field goals in NFL history, a 68-yarder, 67-yarder. I mean, it's ridiculous when you think about what that could do for this Jacksonville team. And do you think, how much does that play into their strategy of not really having to force things as much?
They don't, but it also plays into knowing you can get 3 points there.
Yeah.
Is a team more willing to go kick your field goal because you know this guy's been good?
Yeah.
I don't think it hurts them. I think the ability to have a guy who can kick from that long, you're going to be thinking about it in the fourth quarter of this game, no doubt about it. But I just say for the Bills, if Prater makes his field goals 45 and in for the game and the extra points, you're going to be aggressive offensively. I think they're going to go for it a lot. But it is an advantage with that distance, knowing the guy from midfield, you can kick a field goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So that definitely plays into this game. And I agree. I think Sean McDermott is going to be aggressive on their end because of the leg that Cam Little has. And then also when you have Josh Allen, I think that does give you a lot of flexibility in being aggressive on fourth down. All right, we talked about the offense and defense. Joey Bosa is someone I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
Because this is why the Bills paid him. This is the time, the postseason. He had some really nice plays down the stretch against the Patriots, against the Browns. You saw why the Bills went out and got him. How important is it for him to... Dawson Knox walking off the field. Dalton Kincaid also walking off the field.
Dawson and Dalton get... Little Shakir. Dawson and Dalton get loud cheers. I mean, there's the Josh Allen cheer, and then a bunch of other guys, but you hear it a lot. Oh. Yeah.
It's loud down here.
Yeah. Yeah, you talked about Joey Bosa. I think about the playoffs and a guy making a play. James Cook last year against the Chiefs. Make a play to help Josh Allen. Joey Bosa making a play. It's fourth quarter. You're up by 7. Jags have the ball, 3rd and 8. Who's going to get the pressure? Who's going to force the ball out of his hands? Do what you did to Drake May. Do what you did to Shedeur Sanders in the game where you tipped the pass. Get a sack, make a play, force a fumble, whatever it is. I think, like you said, this is why you brought Joey Bosa in. Go make a play. You got it.
He has it being a 1-point game, but a 1-point Bills win, 24-23.
And initially, it would have been a Bills win, but not a cover.
Yes.
But now, they're getting a point and a half, right? So the... Wild guess who that was gone by. Joshua Patrick Allen. Yeah. I'm trying to figure. I was looking at footwear for Ty Johnson. We're gonna sneakers. Let's see. I'm looking here. We haven't quite got. Jenna, here. Stay here with me. Leave that one alone.
Well, we got to wrap soon anyways, so. Okay. All right, so Dan has this being a Bills win 24-23, coming down to the wire. He thinks James Cook is going to have a big game. I know that the Jags have a great run defense, but Dan thinks that James Cook is going to be able to take advantage.
Yep.
We've seen James Cook be able to do that as well. And Dan referenced how the Bills, how great they were against the Broncos last year in the playoffs, the Ravens in the playoffs. So he has the stats to really back that up. I also have the Bills winning this game 30-27. I got another close game in this one, but I just think Buffalo... And I talked about it, and we talked about it a lot, but the playoff experience, I really do think that matters so much. And I think for Liam Cohen, it's going to be, I think he's done a phenomenal job this season, and it looks very bright down here in Jacksonville. But I think they're just a bit ahead of schedule, and today will be a step up in weight class that I feel like they might not have the tools to get the win today.
Yeah, I think that experience plays in, especially at the quarterback position. I think it's different in this game. Josh Allen's been through it. I think they're relishing the idea of being on the road. Jordan Poyer fired up. Yeah, he's ready to go. Don't underestimate the importance Jordan Poyer has for this secondary in a game like this. His experience has been so important. I have it as a close game, too. Bills winning at 27-24.
All right. Make sure you check out the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel for all your post-game coverage we'll have of today's game. Kickoff will be at 1 o'clock. We'll have plenty more coming up on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Anything you want to say before we head out?
Now, this is fun. This is fun when you're on the road. This is fun when you're covering a playoff game. And let's see what happens. If you're a Bills fan, you're obviously, let's go under the premise the Bills win the game today. You are rooting for, well, you're always rooting for the Patriots to lose. And then, if the Bills were to advance, if the Patriots were to lose, it is the Bills going to either Pittsburgh or Houston. If the Patriots were to win tonight, The Bills are definitely going to Denver if they win the game today. So it's either Denver, Pittsburgh, or Houston if the Bills get a victory today.
All right, we'll be watching those games, but obviously those coming up later. Today, the attention on Buffalo. All right, that'll do it for us down here live on the field at Everbank Stadium. Thank you so much for joining us. For Mike Catalana and Dan Pates, who's running around, definitely posting all over social media, I am Jenna Koschel. Thank you so much for watching Buffalo Plus. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We will catch you next time here on the channel.
Buffalo Plus, your interactive look at the week in football, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.